Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am out here on a client property today and just doing finishing up his fall food plots here. And I've previously done a lot of work on this property. As you can see behind me, we got a lot of sunlight coming down here. I actually came in here and logged this property for this client, and then did a lot of timber stand improvement and hinge cutting through here. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of what to expect, after you log a property fairly hard. You come in and do some hinge cutting, do some TSI, and just how much sunlight it takes to really get good regeneration. This property is in the Thumb of Michigan, so you've got fairly high deer numbers up here. And that's one of the reasons why I really like using, some heavy logging in combination with some hinge cutting, because it allows you to get that browse ahead of the deer and actually get some good regeneration here in the future. So I just want to show you, if you look here above me, most of my goal that I shoot for is right around that 50% sunlight. And I'm pretty happy with the amount of sunlight I've gotten here based on what my vegetation response is. I've got a lot of annual forbs in here, and I've got a lot of perennials. And I don't have too many invasives in here too. We're going to keep at the invasives. If I see some, we'll come in and treat it or cut it back, and try to get ahead of them. We got a couple other sections on the property that we got some Japanese barberry we need to take care of, but that's just things that you constantly need to monitor and coming back in here and do maintenance. But I'll flip the camera around and kind of take you through some of these bedding area, these bedding little nooks and pockets that I created, and then I'll just show you kind of how much sunlight we got in here. So you can see, looking right behind me, we've got a big pocket of sunlight here. We took quite a few big softwood trees out of here, a couple of really big mature oaks, and opened up some other future oaks. There's another really nice white oak over there we left. The main goal of this hunting property and this client's goal is mainly deer hunting. He's not too focused on future timber value, but of course, if we got some here, we're going to leave it. And if we got some future acorns, we're going to leave those top producing acorn trees. So you can see all the raspberry in here. You can see all the browse on this. You can see over here, we got lots of fresh forbs coming out of here. Lots of regeneration on all these stumps. You can see this soft maple, the crazy amount of browse in there. You can see these little pockets in here where we've got lots of growth coming in these walls, and we've got several little pockets that wind down through here. And some of these areas are good because these deer can't get in and browse on some of the stuff, so we can let some of this aspen and this green ash really regenerate. See over here, we got a couple more walls, and then it leads back down to a trail. We got a couple trees that came down. You can see this aspen right here starting to regenerate. Got nipped off. Getting a little bit of grass in some of these areas, but pretty happy with the response. Here we got a big soft, this was a cottonwood. You can see all the regeneration coming off this cottonwood. Here's a fresh oak we got coming up here that hasn't been browsed off. So we're getting some oak regeneration, which is fantastic. Again, getting that sunlight to the forest floor is key. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. This is just one of the ways I've found that works well. We got lots of future aspen regeneration in here. This whole pocket is just looks awesome. Lots of deer activity in here. Just spooked a couple deer out. You can see how I've got these walls kind of organized. I've got a pocket here, a escape route right through here, and then we've got another main trail that winds down through here. You can see all this aspen regeneration through here. Lots of browse. All that. And we got a main trail that winds down through here. There's lots of beds all through this spot right through here. This was mainly all hard maple. We got a mature mature hard maple here that's been dropping a lot of seed. And so we got a lot of small stuff. And so I did my best to try to thin this out, get a lot more sunlight in here. We actually need to cut this a little bit harder. You can see we get a little bit of shade here in the afternoon. So some of these soft maple need to come down, but still some awesome beds in here. You can see that bed right there. Another bed over there. There's another bed straight through there. Again, right underneath that overhead cover, underneath those hinge cuts. There's another really well-used bed right there. Several more in here. There's one right up there in that mound. So again, lots of overhead cover, lots of browse. You know, these young hard maple hinge really nice if you give them enough sunlight. Got a nice radius on this. This is healed up and growing. Again, we're stacking these right on other ones, so we're trying to keep it, you know, somewhat straight. And then we kind of got a little pocket here I didn't cut. And then, you know, it leads back over to another pocket I cut here. And then we've got another trail that runs all the way out, connects into another staging food plot out there. So again, we got a thick wall here. His access is probably about 100 yards that way. So we got a pretty thick wall that we laid down all the way through here. And then, again, we got this travel corridor kind of on the inside. So here's another spot where we've got kind of a little travel corridor. It gets real thick over there on that edge, and then kind of got an opening here that winds around. I cut this wall here pretty thick, and we got this nice travel corridor, little deer trail that sneaks right through here. And it leads right back out into onto this main trail over here. This is going to get mowed here shortly. There's a main trail that runs all the way down through here and then connects all the way back into some other plots. But you can see just the amount of sunlight we've got in here. Opened up around a lot of these real nice bur oaks, future bur oaks in here. And then we got another big travel corridor. And this winds all the way down through here about 200 or 300 yards. And we've got main destination food over here. So the goal was to really thicken up this edge, get a lot of sunlight down through here, stack as many deer as we can in the center of the property here, get our does fairly close to food, and then we built a lot of bedding back further in the property where he's got a lot of pre-rut stands. Oh, there goes a deer right there. So yeah, this is looking really good. Really happy with this. Excited to see how this client does. Well, hopefully this video was helpful on kind of what to expect when you do some select cut or, you know, a little bit more aggressive logging, which is typically what it takes, you know, to really get that regeneration, get that sunlight into the forest floor. You know, again, this is something that, you know, I just keep working with. I keep learning every property I go to. You know, I love coming back to properties and be able to observe, you know, what's coming back as far as regeneration, how the deer are reacting to it, and then, of course, you know, just the actual hunting strategies, how the client season went, you know, and what they're seeing. So hopefully this is helpful. If you guys are interested, you got questions, you know, about timber stand improvement, you know, some logging, stuff like that, feel free to give me a shout. All my contact information will be in the link in the description below. Appreciate it, guys, and hopefully you guys have an awesome fall.